bit of Neanderthal mixture. We see traces of Neanderthal ancestry in Europe, and we see it in Asia, as well as in the Americas amongst Native Americans.
Mysteriously, scientists have found one hominid is represented in human DNA that has not yet been identified. But ancient astronaut theorists believe clues as to what other ancestors might exist within the human genome can be found in the Bible's Book of Genesis.
In the book of Genesis, it says that the sons of God came into the daughters of men. They created a hybrid offspring who are called the Nephilim, or the fallen ones. They're referred to as the giants, or the mighty ones, and some believe they were between 8 and 15 feet tall.
This is handed down not only in the Bible, this is also handed down in Sumerian languages, that some of the gods had sex with humans and the offsprings were giants. Mythology is full of giants, and we have to look at these old myths with modern languages, change the word of angel into extraterrestrial. In the beginning of time, extraterrestrials had sex with humans, and the product of this sexual contact were giants.
Is it possible that as geneticists continue to decode the human genome, they will find that among our various hominid ancestors is a missing link to enormous beings from another world?
Ancient DNA is perhaps, for me, the most important area of study in all of my work, because there is the potential chance here that we can find direct evidence of the ancestors of modern humans. I suspect we'll find lineages of a race of giants.
Could it be that just like some humans have traces of Neanderthal DNA, there could still be similar traces of alien human giants that scientists have yet to discover? Ancient astronaut theorists believe the answer is a profound yes, and suggest further insights could be revealed in early Judaic texts, which give a curious description of the world's first man, otherwise known as Adam. Genesis, chapter 6, placed just after the story of creation and the generations of Adam and Eve. This section of the Hebrew Bible contains a curious passage.
There's a very interesting teaching in older Kabbalistic traditions that dates back to temple times. Legend states that Adam originally was, by our definition, a giant. That the original Adamic race was not of the same physical stature as we human beings are today. Some claim that the original Adamic race were giants. Is this a legend of symbolism, or is there something actual to it?
Was the biblical Adam a giant? Could it be that all of humanity is descended from a race that was of a much greater stature? And that there was a time on Earth when giants were prevalent and humans were the anomaly?
When we look at the modern evolutionary cycle for human beings, it's still put on the shoulders of Darwinistic views. So anything that steps outside of those viewpoints is usually greatly challenged. Mainstream science has had a very hard time wrapping their head around the idea that there could have been a lost race, part extraterrestrial, part human.
In mythology, the giants were a fact, they did exist. What we are missing are the bones of giants. From time to time, anthropologists found some big bones, but then other anthropologists contradicted it. But definitely giants did exist in the past, and they were the result of a mixture between extraterrestrials and humans.
Do incredible megalithic structures, curious religious traditions repeated in culture after culture, and reports of enormous human remains represent the remnants of a lost civilization of giants? And if so, Could these enormous beings have actually had a hand in the creation of humankind? Perhaps one day soon, conclusive evidence of the link between humans and giants will finally come to light. And we will discover that within the mythological tales of our ancestors lies the true history of the human race. An otherworldly encounter.
It is an eyewitness account. He was
An extraordinary story of an otherworldly encounter.
It is an eyewitness account. He was taken up and sees planet Earth underneath him. He is given powerful, universal angelic beings. These angels were not spiritual beings, they were physical beings whose role it is to direct the affairs of humanity.
It is an account that was strictly forbidden.
These texts were deemed too dangerous.
And now, new technology may reveal even more shocking revelations.
We are recovering burned texts, which there it is. Look at this. This is sensational.
Could the Book of Enoch contain profound truths about our extraterrestrial past? And might it even hold the key to humanity's future?
Enoch knew that all these writings would be found in the far future. And Enoch said, I will return to this planet.
There is a doorway in the universe. Beyond it is the promise of truth. It demands we question everything we have ever been taught. The evidence is all around us. The future is right before our eyes. We are not alone. We have never been alone. The Tigre
traditions is not.
The author of the book, according to the text, is the Jewish patriarch Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah.
Enoch is a biblical figure mentioned in the book of Genesis, chapter 5. What's interesting about Enoch is a tradition arose that he never died. And this is because in Genesis 5:24, the text says that Enoch walked with God and then was no more because God took him.
But where the Hebrew Bible only mentions Enoch briefly, the Book of Enoch, which consists of more than 100 chapters, greatly expands on his story. In it is a curious passage that details Enoch's ascent to heaven.
According to the book of Enoch, he says he was 12 years old. The whole community of his village wanted to sleep, but then they hear the noise in the sky. Two angels came down from the sky. One of the two beings said to Enoch, "Don't be afraid, human." Then they went up to the so-called heaven.
And in the book of Enoch, we learn of Enoch himself is taken into the heavens in a fiery chariot.
Enoch goes up to the so-called sky, and there Enoch sees something over the earth which he cannot describe. He has no word like spaceship or something. He said it looked like houses of crystal.
It is described that he sees planet Earth underneath him. He actually describes his arrival, how he has to walk through these different rooms where he sees jewels and he sees shiny surfaces and blinking lights. It is an eyewitness account. It's I, Enoch, did this. I, Enoch, saw that. The Book of Enoch is one of the first abduction accounts written down by a fellow human being. Does the Book of Enoch really describe an actual abduction event? One that took place thousands of years ago? And if so, might this incredible close encounter be documenting communication with otherworldly beings?
Enoch, he was said to be at the right hand of God. In fact, Enoch was said to be God's scribe in later tradition. So God would decree things, and Enoch was the one who recorded everything that went on. So Enoch was the keeper of all knowledge of heaven.
This is one of the reasons why the Book of Enoch is so controversial. He's taken up into the heavenly realms, to the throne of God, where he is given powerful, universal knowledge by angelic beings or extraterrestrial beings.
As far as ancient astronaut theorists are concerned, the Book of Enoch is one of the most compelling texts ever written, documenting extraterrestrial visitation. But it is far from unique. They say that similar encounters were documented by many other ancient cultures, lending support to the notion that Enoch's experiences were genuine. We can find ancient texts that speak of people ascending to heaven and then coming back down. For example, in ancient Greece, you have the story of Ganymede that was taken up by Zeus's eagle. Also in ancient China and in ancient Sumeria and